What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, it's been a hot second. Us coaches got to do some stuff, but we are back. Opening day is upon us. If you're watching or listening to this tonight, it's tomorrow. If you're watching or listening to this on opening day, happy opening day to you and those who celebrate this spectacular holiday. How are you?
Doing well. Good to be back. Good to see you. I know we've been busy, but it's opening day, so it's time to get going. It's time to be back.
And I come in with this big old extravagant speech that I didn't even prepare.
Of
Came
course.
out completely unprepared. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Always.
The opening day. Don't know what we're talking about. We've been watching some Angels baseball though. I'm excited. I'm excited. Nate, I know we're ready. We're ready to set expectations. I
Yes.
think that's the best thing that we can do right now is set expectations. And if the Angels exceed expectations,
Outstanding.
everybody's happy.
Mhm.
But let's set expectations here on this podcast. But before we do that, just want to thank you all for sticking around, hanging in there with us here at Talking Halos. Again, happy opening day. Man, I am so excited. Baseball is back. It is 30 something degrees outside for me right now. We're playing baseball up here. I know it's a lot more beautiful down in Southern California, but take it and watch baseball on a daily basis up until the All-Star break, and we have those days off. But man, I'm excited. Again, thank you for sticking in there with us here at Talking Halos. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow myself on Twitter, on X, Jared_Timms. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34. Do not forget to subscribe to this podcast. We will be back, whether it's good or bad this year, talking Angels baseball to you, breaking it down. Breaking it down. I'm excited, man. This is so much fun, man. Baseball season's upon us. I was on another podcast earlier today just talking some Angels prospects. It excites me. The grind is on. We are here. We are here to talk some Angels baseball. Please subscribe. Let's get it rolling. Nate, Angels baseball. Let's talk about it a little bit. I don't know where we're going with this. I've been just kind of sputtering on about little things. Let's set some expectations up front here, though. Okay.
Of course.
You have a young team coming out there. This probably one of the younger teams that the Angels have rolled out there on opening day in quite some time. I don't know if I'm sure somebody will have the stats on it and things like that. I'm gonna guess it's one of the younger teams Angels have rolled out there in quite some time. I'm trying to think, you could probably push it back even to the playoff
2010,
era,
2008, like in
2010s,
there. Yeah, in there.
2010s. Yeah, I'd say at least 10 years. In the last 10 years, this is the youngest team the Angels are rolling out there. There's a good chunk of upside on this Angels team. A lot to be excited about. A lot of things that the Angels can do right this year to take steps forward, and it does not necessarily mean the Angels need to make the playoffs to have a successful season this year. That is just a bonus. Is that fair to say, Nate?
Um, no, because at the end of the day, like the goal is to win. So like
I don't
whether
think the goal is to win this year. I know as much as Perry Manasing says. I know
yeah,
everybody's
no,
goal is. I know
the
everybody's goal
goal
is
is
to
to
win.
win.
I,
What
I get it.
every single manager is stepping into they stepped into spring training, they had their first meeting and they said, fellas, our goal is to make the playoffs and to win the World Series. Every single team, even the Oakland A's, are saying that, and everyone's saying the Oakland A's could win 45 games. It doesn't matter. I heard it last year too with the Cubs. Everyone was like, oh, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. And you watch David Ross go in and do his speech beforehand and go, fellas, we get paid to win. And if you want to continue to play this game, we got to figure out ways to win. And that's what our goal is. And I guarantee you, Ron Washington has that same fire and attitude of like, we got to figure out ways to win. So I think if you ask Wash, he will say like under 500 is unacceptable. Missing the playoffs is unacceptable. And now, us as Angel fans, should we say making the playoffs is just outstanding? That would be like winning the World Series for this group because we haven't seen it in a while. Um, but yeah, I think that the goal is still to win. You still have one of, if not the best player in the sport on your team. You still have some young pieces, and you're still paying a lot of money. Like you're still in the top 12 of payroll in Major League Baseball. So you got to figure out a way to win with that.
Okay. So winning being a 500 team, is that a successful season to you? Because it's more wins than the Angels had with Shohei Ohtani. I know we're going to put
Sure.
emphasis on that.
I would say that's a step in the right direction. I wouldn't say it's a success. Think you can I don't think you can call any season a success unless you end up um with some sort of playoff win.
Okay.
Um
I misspoke then. Let's take a step in the right direction.
yeah,
500
I
baseball is a
think
step in the
that's
right
fair,
direction.
right? Like winning more games than you lose, like that's taking a step in the right direction. That's what you're looking for out of this team. But like to set expectations, like that's one of my least favorite things to do is for teams to be like, oh, we're gonna set expectations low, and if we get there, like it's gonna be awesome. It's like no, because when you set expectations low, you will hit your low expectations. So they need high expectations, and they need to be able to hit it or come close to it. And if the expectation is a playoff team, and they finish where the Mariners did last year or where the Cubs did last year, where they're a game out, like that's great. But that's got to be the expectation in the clubhouse. Now, for you and me, is that the expectation? I don't
I
think
was
so.
about to say that. I'm like in the club, it's a different feel in the clubhouse. Like any team we're going into, like I could go into Vanguard and be like, man, we're winning the Natty this year. Very well knowing you guys probably aren't going to win the Natty.
Well, we
Um,
could.
you could 100%, but at the same time, you know, in the clubhouse, a little different than what we're going to talk about. It would like I want to we got to set expectations better for fans. We can't you can't go into. I'm just glad nobody's saying the Angels are going to win 90 games this year. There's that
You're
monkey is.
not going to predict that.
I'm not going to predict that
You've
this year.
done that the last 3 years, and you've been close.
Shut up. I've not. I predicted it one time. Okay, predicted it
Twice,
one time.
twice.
Legit prediction one time. Everything else, it was like every single year before this was let's. The Angels could be a 72 win team. They could be a 90 win team. I don't know. And everybody said a lot of people said. I won't say everybody said that, but a lot of people said that on the last couple years. So yes, you can give me all the shit in the world. That's totally fine. But just realize that I give you one time for that. It was not 3 years. So expectations are set. Let's be a 500 team this year for the Angels. That's I step in the right direction. Win more games than you had with Shohei Ohtani. Show that you can win games without Shohei Ohtani because I think that's a big factor that a lot of people aren't going to talk about and are not talking about right now. And I think we're going to continue to push this notion, especially if the Angels win some ball games early, that the Angels are able to get into a rhythm. Angels pitching in particular are able to get on a roll in a 6-man rotation and know who is pitching every fifth day, rather than well, Shohei Ohtani is pitching this day, and Canning, you might go that day, you might go this day. Sandoval, you may go that day. Detmers, you may go that day. No, you are penciled in every fifth day, and you have that start. So that is probably the biggest thing for me that I'm looking at, is now without Shohei Ohtani, what that rotation looks like. And I'm taking nothing away from spring training other than that they threw strikes, and that is a big key to success is throwing a lot of strikes and not walking a lot of guys. But everything resets with opening day. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about that. You're smiling. Pitching coaches
Yeah,
here.
well, when you say throw strikes is a big thing, it just makes me think of the Washington Nationals and what they posted in their bullpen. Says nobody cares how hard you threw ball four, um, and I just think that's a great comment because, like, honestly, that's great. You throw 98 miles an hour, but if you're walking everyone, it don't matter. Um, so yeah, I think the expectations. Honestly, I have them winning 83 games this year. Like, and I know that's a big difference from what I normally have. I have them over 500. I have them being somewhat competitive, not really like playoff competitive, but like way more competitive than we've seen them be in the last couple years, last 5 or 6 years. I think that this team is going to surprise some people. I think you're going to see some young guys step up. The biggest question though is how many of these young guys are actually going to step up. If it's one or two, you're probably going to be closer to that 76 to 78 range. If three or four of the young guys step up, or 4 or 5 of the young guys step up, this team is going to win, 80, 82, 82, 83, 84 games. So I have 83. That's just me. I have a little bit more excitement this year with this team. I wish there was a little bit. I wish there was not. I wish they had one more starting pitcher and one less starting pitcher on the team, like a substitute, if you will, for one guy. But other than that, I think that it's going to be fun to watch some of these guys play.
Yeah, like a DH for pitchers. I get what you're saying. Definitely. 100%.
No, no, no. Just cut one guy and add another guy in.
No, I know what you want to say. Question on that, and it's kind of interesting thought because we went through each division earlier today off the record. If the Angels were in the AL Central, would they be
No.
competing in the AL
What
Central?
it depends on what you mean competing. Like, I mean,
Well,
Cleveland said
with
they
this
competed
exact,
last year.
but
Cleveland said they competed last year and they finished 11 games out. You know, like that's not competing. They finished in second and they finished like 11 games out. I'm gonna double check that number, but
I mean, take for what it's worth, Fangraphs has the Twins winning 84 games. You just had the Angels winning 83 games.
yeah.
So the Angels are
Uh,
competing in the Central.
if Fangraphs is right, and who knows if Fangraphs is right, because I believe Fangraphs last year had the Angels winning 87 games and being a borderline playoff team. Yes, and the year before they had the Angels winning 90 games, because that was the year where you got all excited. It was 2 years ago. So yes, if it's correct, sure, but I mean, I think Fangraphs had the Twins winning about 84 games last year, and the Twins won 87 games, which is completely different. And let's see, Twins.
I don't. I actually don't. I don't know, man. It was just a hypothetical question, just because I saw Fangraphs that ranked. They had the Twins winning the Central at 84 games. You had the
Cleveland finished 11 games out. They finished third. Detroit finished second. So Detroit did pass them. But would would they compete? Sure. But like I don't think you can play that game. You know what league you're in. You've been in the league for a long
It
time,
was a
and
hypothetical question. Just play the damn game.
your goal is to win games. Who cares what league you're in?
Oh
Just go
my
win
god.
baseball games. It don't
Okay.
matter.
Well, you're no fun tonight, so
I
there's
know.
yeah, we can't even play a game tonight. So, um, we might as well just end this podcast because there might not be any more hypothetical questions. So you have the Angels winning. You have the Angels winning 83 games.
Mhm.
I'll say the Angels win. I want to say 82. I hate that you were that close. I wanted to say 82, so I should have said mine first. I
Yeah, I
decided.
know. That's why I threw mine out there first. Because
I,
normally I'm under 500. I think
I know.
last year I think I was 81, and this year I think I have more wins, which is
I,
crazy to say.
I just want the Angels, and this is me being maybe a little petty. If you've listened and watched this show for a while, I want the Angels to win more games without Shohei Ohtani because the Angels have never had didn't have a winning record with Shohei Ohtani. I really want to just prove the point and make it known and make it true that the Angels did not need Shohei Ohtani, and Shohei Ohtani was actually not a nuisance, but like just not what the Angels needed to go win baseball games, and they should have actually traded him. But we're not going to get on to that side of things right now. Um, let's talk about key players besides Mike Trout. I asked this question the other day on Twitter. Is there somebody not named Mike Trout that could be an all-star?
I mean, absolutely. There's a couple guys that could be an all-star besides Mike Trout. I mean, you look at Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward has been a good player when he was healthy a couple years back, and then last year he was a good player, not great player. Uh, he has an opportunity if he comes back and looks how he did in spring. He's a possibility. I mean, everyone's gonna cite the Logan O'Hoppe numbers from his 40 games last year, and if he was on pace for this many games, like
You
there are
did you
guys.
did you did tell me earlier that you thought Logan O'Hoppe might hit 40 this year, I think, right?
I did not.
Yeah.
Um, good try though. Uh, And I mean, Zach Neto's a kid, right? Like shortstop is completely is like a really tough position to win an all star. But I mean, if Neto goes out there and breaks out his mind, there's a possibility for him. So I think the biggest thing though, like if you're looking at this, um, where are the spots that are going to be tough for teams to get a all star, right? Like first base is one. I don't see Shane Wells as an all star. I'm sorry. Catcher is one, right? Like you really think Adley Rushman and maybe Cal Riley is who you're going to compete with for that spot, and then you can throw in a couple other guys, Jose Trevino um and the Astros kid. Like there's going to be some kids that can be an all star there, but I think honestly the deep sleeper is third base, right? You got Jose Ramirez, And you've got Josh Jung, who, if he's healthy, he's a possibility. Alex Bregman has been a slow starter in the past. He hasn't been like amazing early on. Anthony Rendon is the guy who needs to be an all-star for this team to be good. Like he needs to be. I know like that's everyone's gonna say, well, he has to actually be on the field, and I agree. But like when he has been on the field, it has been good. And I think with some other things, he's more likely to be on the field a little bit more and potentially being an all-star. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star. I'm just saying that he has the
We're,
upside of being an all-star. If
we're
he's on
gonna
the
get.
field
We will
for
be recording. This is being recorded, so when
yeah,
you're gonna call me out on it,
that's
when
fine. You had 95 wins. We'll go back to the tape if we want to. Um I'm not saying Anthony Rendon is an all-star by any means, but I'm saying that like who he's been in the past, what we've seen out of him so far, um, him as a leadoff hitter, it might be really, really good for him to just go up there and see some fastballs early and try and get on base because he's a pretty good job. He does a pretty good job of getting on base. Like the power might not be there, but everything else, if he's hitting doubles and he's getting on base and walking, like he's got a possibility. You didn't say who's going to be. You said possibility, and then I'll throw in one starting pitcher just because I'm always high on him, and I'll stay high on him is Chase Silseth. I think he's got the stuff to make the All Star game. He's the guy who, if he pitches well, you're looking at him at the All Star break on wow, he's got 2.85 ERA. What the heck? Like, so I think that's the real guy is Chase Silseth, Taylor Ward. But obviously Neto, Ohapi, Rendon, like if they play well, yeah, sure. But I think Ward and Silseth are like the two guys who potentially will play the best to get them a shot.
yeah. Again, the Angels are. Dare I say the Angels are set up to succeed this year because nobody's banking on them being good. Deep down you kind of like what they're rolling out there. The biggest thing is going to be the health and guys staying healthy and guys being able to continuously produce. That's the big thing there. And again,
Pitching.
when I
Pitching is
when,
the biggest question mark for
yeah,
me.
yep,
Like,
absolutely.
are you going to be able to pitch like Patrick Sandoval cannot pout every time something doesn't go his way. Griffin Canning
You're just waiting for
can
that one, weren't you?
I was. So you set me up. Thank you for the
Yeah.
the BP fastball. But Griffin Canning cannot be a guy who's going to throw 105 pitches in 4 2/3 5 innings. Like he's got to be a guy who's going to pitch deep into games and get quick outs. Silseth's got to be a guy who's got to take that next step forward. Detmers has to be the Detmers that ended the season. He cannot be the Detmers who started the season. And
Oh, you're
Tyler Anderson
squandering.
just needs to be competent. Like if Tyler Anderson's competent, then this rotation probably will be okay. But yeah, the starting pitching scares me badly because it there's just a lot of like praying every time certain guys take the mound, and it feels like there's three guys that every time they take the mound, you're like, just please be average. Just go 5 innings and give up 5 runs, and we'll figure out a way to win. But more times than not, they're not getting through 5, and they're not giving up, less than 5. So I don't know. That's what the big question mark for me is. I think the offense will be okay. I think Wash will have this offense and this defense better than last year. I think the stolen bases will be up. I think the way that they play the game will be better. But the biggest question mark is you can only do what so much with the talent you're given, and I think the starting pitching is lacking just some talent.
Yeah, we again talk about a lot of stuff off the record. Seems like the Angels have a possible okay. The Angels have two number threes, a number four, a number five, and a number six. They just need to be better pitching wise, and you need guys to step up too. That's the biggest thing there. You need guys to step up, and is Patrick Sandoval possibly a number two? Yeah, but you need him to step up. You mentioned it. Is Reed Detmers a low end two really good number three? He has a chance to be, but he needs to step up and be that guy all year. Tyler Anderson, I said he's a 6, I think, or I said he's a 5. Like he needs to find a way to get back not to what he was with the Dodgers, but he needs to figure out a
4-2,
way to
4-5,
yeah,
somewhere in there.
find a way to get 4, 5, 6 innings pitched every single night and give up, 3
If he's
3
somewhere in the
runs.
4.2 to 4.5 ERA, you're super super happy. Like he's not going to be a sub 3 guy. He's not even going to be a low 3 guy. He's at best he's a low to mid 4 guy. And if he's there, then you're super super happy with Tyler Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I think the most impressive kid to me is Chase Silseth. I know they're talking about Griffin Canning and how good, but like to see what Silseth did to that Dodger lineup yesterday, or 2 days, I guess yesterday for us, 2 days ago for the people listening on opening day. I think that's amazing. Like that lineup is for real. They're rolling guys out there. They're probably a week or 2 ahead of actual regular major league hitters because they had to hit in major league games a week and a half ago when they played the Padres that in a game that counted. So the fact that he was able to go out there and strike out 10 and just be competitive for 5 innings is huge. I think that kid has a chance to be very very special, but he's got to be healthy and he's got to continue to be competitive with some of his off speed. Like he can't hang stuff and he can't throw things 48 feet. Like his splitter's got to be 59 feet or competitive enough where it gives him a chance to get an out. So, but I really like Chase Silseth. You know that. I think he has a shot to be the best pitcher on the Angel staff at the end of the year.
I mean, absolutely. And people don't like when I say it. I'm going to continue to say it. Shohei Ohtani type stuff. He really does.
I mean, the repertoire is pretty similar.
Exactly.
Splitty, the overhand curve, the upper nines fastball, and the slider. Like I don't know if the slider's as good as Ohtani's was, but if he can throw that thing real good, he's got a shot to put up some stupid numbers.
Absolutely. And be a team guy and throw the splitter every once in a while too. So Nate, you got any final thoughts before we let everybody go?
It's going to be an interesting year. How long does Jose Suarez last on this roster? What over under? What do you got?
That's the question that we had. That I already, and the opening day roster hasn't come out yet, right? Like we don't.
Yeah.
I apologize. We didn't wait for it. We should have waited. It's probably coming out probably as we release this podcast, I would assume, or maybe tomorrow morning. But it's not out yet. We don't know if he's. We don't know if he's on the opening day roster yet, Nate.
How long does he last? Over under 3 weeks.
They will keep him around. He'll be here in June. He'll be in unless he's really bad. Wow. Unless he's really bad, he'll be here till June. I mean, do I agree with it? No, but you got to cut the cord at some point. I gave him 2 years, Nate. I gave him 2 years. All right. You've given him a lot less time. I gave him 2 years. I'm in agreement with you. Like he needs to show right away that he is capable of being a pitcher, or else you have to move on. Especially if you're on Washington and Perry Minasian and saying, hey, to the clubhouse, hey, we're gonna win. Like you cannot keep a guy like that around too much longer. Yep. However, if he's pitching good, you ride that out.
Yeah, that's fine. If he's pitching good out of the pen, that's fine. That's a different story. But I'm worried that it won't be good.
That was your question. That's what we had to work with there. So really,
Miguel. We there's so many question marks with this team. Like Miguel Sano's on the roster.
We could have talked about this for an hour and a half. I'm not. Yeah. We don't need to talk about it for an hour and a half, guys. Really don't. We will be back. What is today? Today's Wednesday. We will be back
Sunday after the series.
Friday or Monday. We'll figure it out then.
Yeah.
We'll definitely figure it out. We're going to try to come to you guys 3 times a week during the season. Talk some Angels baseball. Make sure that everybody is happy, rolling, and I'm excited. I'm just excited for baseball, minor leagues, all that fun stuff. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching and listening. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you have not. Pound that subscribe button. Let us know how you feel about the Angels. Let us know, how you like this podcast. You can follow myself on X at Jared_Tim's Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a great rest of your day.